What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talkin Brash. It's the 5th episode. We've made it to 5 episodes. Can you believe it? Today, we got a guy who I toured with for years. Super fun. I call him Backstage because we'll tell you why. He'll explain all the reasons why we called him Backstage. But, ladies and gentlemen, drummer extraordinaire, all-around great guy, Tony Baptist. What's up, Tony? How you doing?
Cheers, Loki. Thanks for having me on,
right.
man. How you doing?
I'm good. Had I known you were going to have a cup of whiskey, I would have grabbed one.
I felt it was appropriate, right? Every day was either Maker's Mark or I was always looking for Jack, but this is Bullet Rye.
Oh, it's Bullet. So, all right.
Yeah. And, happy birthday to Zook.
Yeah.
Cheers to Zuki.
Zook is 7 years old today. Cheers. Today, we went to the lake. She swam around. She loves swimming. That's why it's like today was her birthday. We had to go swimming. And
of course.
Then I brought her to PetSmart, and she basically just went into the fucking treat and bone aisle for about a half hour, sticking her head in every cubby. And I did
That's awesome.
I did that until she picked out like what she wanted.
Yeah.
And finally, like, she picked out like 2 treats. I'm like, all right, these are yours. Here we go.
Nice.
So she had a good.
That's
birthday.
perfect. Yeah. All right, I'll give her a pet for me, man. I miss her. I remember coming to see her up in the North Jersey house.
Yeah, dude, she's been good. Old lady now. She's 7, and
wow.
she's a lot more tame. You know, she used to be very excitable, and these days she's just like doesn't give a fuck about nothing. You know,
mellowing out as you get older.
Yeah. People are.
Let's go enjoy those years,
on
though.
Your
you know,
haircut, dude. They're like, check out the new haircut.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually courtesy of my wife because
very nice.
I refuse to go see a barber during all this. I'm just like, no. But here's how ridiculous I am. I will go and get tattooed up. Right. Literally yesterday, it's still red and shiny.
But
I'll spend 6 hours in the chair with a guy, but I won't get a haircut. Absolutely not. Nope.
Right on.
Yeah. And my wife's going to get a haircut. I'm like, you sure you want to do this? So this is safe? And then I'm going to get tattooed, you know.
So when is that?
But she did this, so.
When is that tattoo?
What is it?
When did you do it?
Oh, yeah, literally yesterday.
Yesterday.
It's a bit of a cover-up of this
right.
ridiculous thing that used to be there and the beginning of what's going to be another full-arm sleeve, much like this one.
Right on. Tony showing off the guns, everyone. Showing off the guns. Yeah, there it is.
Hear that? Yeah. That's body by quarantine. What else are you going to do?
Yeah. Hey, man.
Literally, like, I'm upstairs in my little, this is my little workout area with the wife and stuff. We got the,
nice.
Workout mat and the Red Sox and the same dumbbells that Doyle uses, apparently. So...
Yeah, those come in handy, man. You take them apart, you fucking use what you need. Yeah, those are awesome. You're making me thirsty. I don't know. I might fucking have to play like a video and walk downstairs.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
Oh, my bad.
So these days you're in Boston, the Boston area. You left LA. What was LA like? When did you leave LA?
I left LA right before shit went crazy. So I moved to LA about a year ago, July of last year.
Right.
And got a place in Hollywood, kind of East Hollywood near like Los Feliz. And it was great. I loved everything about Los Angeles. Got a good job and was doing all these like jam nights with all like these unknown guys, like all the hired gun guys in LA that, you'll never know their names, but they play for, Cher, or they'll play for Billy Idol, or they'll play for whoever.
There's a lot
and
of
a lot of them.
There's a lot of
yeah. Oh yeah. In Nashville. Absolutely. Yeah. Rich Redmond's a badass, drummer for Jason Aldean. That's all over the place in Nashville.
Isn't your boy here too?
Jay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he's, I got to visit him last time when I toured with, my buddy Station. Got to hang out for a couple days and
awesome.
And right before he was supposed to head down to go on tour. So yeah, a lot of people moving to Nashville.
Just in case people don't know who Jay is, can you explain them who Jay is?
Jay Weinberg, drummer extraordinaire, drummer for Slipknot, drummer for Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band, son of Max Weinberg. My whole life tends to stem from ice hockey, and so I met Michael through the ice rink, and that's how I met you, through him. So I met Jay through playing ice hockey. I was his goalie coach for years, and
Was he a good goalie?
some of the he's a good goalie. Yeah. He's a better drummer, but to be in Slipknot, you got to be one of the best drummers in the world, and he is.
Right.
But the sweetest kid, the nicest dude. His whole family have always been very, very sweet and stuff like that. But yeah, he's in Nashville. I'm trying to think if I know anybody else down there. Not really, but yeah, man. LA was great, and doing those like jam nights at the Viper Room and at the Whiskey. Like, I'd be on stage with guys who played with Jonathan Davis and and for the Rock of Ages band and for the Jimmy Kimmel band. Like,
damn, that's awesome.
It was awesome, and they'd all get together and do these jam nights. And it's like you're on this. Once you get in, you're kind of in. So like I'd get like an email like, here's you're gonna play these 3 songs. You're gonna play like Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, Enter Sandman, and Rebel Yell. And you're gonna nobody rehearses. You just show up. And what's kind of cool about it, it weeds out all the jokers. If you show up and it's like you were supposed to play a song by Pink, and you showed up and you didn't know what you were doing, you're never getting on that stage again.
Getting on again, right?
And so everybody would show up. They'd know the songs without even having rehearsed with each other, kill it, and then have a just hang and network and just chill and become friends with people. So it was awesome.
How do you start there? Like, how do you start getting into that circuit? Like, is it just as simple as emailing someone like, hey, I just moved into town, I'm looking for just to play and get to know people? Is it as simple as that or no? Kinda.
First of all, it's just making friends. It's really is all it was like, first of all, don't be a dick. First of all, don't smell. Look halfway decent.
Some people have trouble with this.
Yes, they do. And that's believe it or not, that will weed out. Just those 3 parameters alone will weed out like 80% of the jokers that try to go out there and do stuff like that. Right. But I knew a couple of guys just through years of touring with you and like that I'd met that live out there. And when I went out there, I'm like, yo, let's get coffee. And then I'd go get coffee with them. Then I'd go to the jam night. I wouldn't necessarily play for the first couple of weeks, but then they'd introduce me to this guy, who introduced me to this guy who, hey, that's the dude you want to email to get in and send him your, videos or whatever. Do that. Hey, okay, cool. You're going to go on at 2 a.m. and you're going to play these 3 songs. And then you do it and you show that I don't suck. That's cool. Cool. I showed up, I knew my stuff, and then they ask you back, and then you just that's just kind of how it works, man.
Did you get?
You show up, you're on time, prepared.
Did you get any other gigs while you were out there, or no? Like, or were
not
you just
really
doing these little jam sessions?
I got one paying gig with this crazy asshole that it was a heavy. Yeah, they all tend to be, but like they just like not, this guy was just awful, but it was a paying gig. I did it, and it was artists tend to be crazy. It's just how it is. It's okay, it's why they're good at what they do, but like then the only other thing I did was actually, just to get started with playing with people, I joined a Rammstein tribute band.
Damn.
Not for any other reason that it was just like, do you want to play drums? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I would have done it too.
Yeah, why not? It was kind of fun. But it was a long game for me. Like just to I wasn't trying to get a gig immediately. I was trying to meet the people that would help me get gigs and stuff like that, and just kind of get in and just hang with people and just make friends. That was really it. I was just trying to make friends. Yeah. And it went pretty well. I was enjoying myself, had a hell of a time, and what was I going to say? But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Just doing those jam nights is just a blast, So.
Were you going to concerts more often? Did you find yourself going out more often? No, you were a homebody?
Yes and no. I go to work. I go to my drum room. I'd rehearse. I'd go home, eat dinner, hang out with my wife, and then go do these jam nights or whatever. Go hang out with somebody or go get coffee with somebody or something like that. And that was pretty much it. I was, I know one of the guys. Oh, that's what I want to say. One of the guys from these Viper Room jam nights literally got kicked off stage be Avril Lavigne's bass player.
Holy
You know,
shit.
like it just works that way. Like out there, you know, you got to. The kid had a good look. He was young. Like he could play good, and someone just said you should audition. Hey, and I know somebody's looking for a bass player, audition, and boom, just picked like right off the stage and got a gig like that.
That's
So
badass.
it just works out that way, you know.
Yeah.
But I tell you what worked out was so I left LA after about 6 months because it was just like it wasn't the right place for my family. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it just, as much as I was enjoying it, it didn't help. The family life wasn't great. You know what I mean? And it was just like, you know what? All right. So to me, it was more important to have, you know, everything at home be cool and have, you know, my family be happy and feel safe where they are and things like that. That ultimately, you know, I decided, you know what, no matter what success or what cool things I could do out here, none of it means anything if, like, you know, if my wife, it doesn't feel safe here, or the job that she has in LA isn't good or anything like that. And so she actually got a great job offer here in Boston, like you know, offer you can't refuse type job offer.
An offer you can't refuse, eh?
Yeah, can't refuse. Yeah, and that's the Italian side coming out. And but yeah, and it was so I said, take it. Why the fuck wouldn't you take it? A great job like this. We love Boston. Our honeymoon was to Fenway Park, for Christ's sake, you know. So
what a
she went.
Whose idea was that?
It was ours, man. We're crazy people, you know. It was like that's like, where would you rather go? You know, Florida or Disney World or like Fenway Park.
Right.
To us, it was like Fenway Park, you know. But yeah, man. And so she came out here to start her job, and I was just staying back in LA to kind of like tie things up and just, you know, fix the lease or get that taken care of. And I mean, I was like, and it was that point where I realized like we made the right decision, because I was miserable without, you know, my wife in Los Angeles. Like, you know, I wanted to be with her, and so whatever success or whatever things like we could have done in Los Angeles, it just wasn't the right town for us.
Right.
And that's the most important thing is us and our family and our lives. And I tell you what, though, I got out of there in December, the end of December, and like a month later, everything's shutting down.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything. I'm getting messages from old friends out there being like, you left just in time. Nobody's got any gigs. Nobody can pay their drum room rent. And I'm out here like, you know, I transferred my job. I got a raise. I got another raise.
Damn, that's awesome.
She's got a job. And we got this great apartment. So I'm in Boston now, and
do you
we're
have
doing
a
great.
drum room?
No, I don't have a drum room.
That's next. That's got to come.
I have a couple. You know, I was looking until everything shut down.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew I found a couple spots around here, but it was like once everything shut down and I got to work for 2 months, I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending money on anything like that until, you know, I know what the fucking world is going to look like.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
What's life like at work, man? I know it's because, you know, we were talking before we got on air that life here in Tennessee is just fucking different than the Northeast.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So how do you guys, are you still working now or what?
I'm back at work. My wife is going to be teaching. She's a teacher, and she's going to be teaching pretty much remotely, completely. You know, the Northeast, especially Massachusetts, ain't fucking around. They're like, everybody wears a mask inside, outside. We're on top of each other, like you said before. And so, you know, we're taking it seriously, but we're back to work. Some restaurants are open for socially distanced indoor dining and stuff like that. So
like that.
I only let 4 people inside my store at any given time. That's our rules. So, but we're small. We're like a 7-Eleven sized guitar store, you know? So,
we got
right,
people,
you know?
in front of stores here that, you know, they're supposed to count how many are leaving, how many are walking in, and this, you know, they're just these lazy pieces of shit that are basically sleeping while it's just business as usual. You know what I mean? They're just they're outside doing their job, but they're not doing anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. You know, I'm working with that band Station, and I'm going to be they're kind of trying to turn themselves into like we're trying to do like a Beatles thing where, you know, where you just write a bunch of music and release it, because there's going to be no touring. So I'm supposed to go down to Long Island next month and do about 25 to 30 tracks for like
that's cool.
2 more records. So, and looking forward to that. Those guys are great. They write really great music. I have a blast with them. And you saw them. You know, you guys met them in Nashville a couple years ago.
Yeah,
so,
totally awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. We'll be releasing that music over the next year or so. So
when are you going to start doing that?
Well, the last record, Stained Glass, available everywhere. You can get that came out like last year, and did really well. We actually sold a decent amount of vinyls. It's the only thing anybody's selling these days.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like next month record those tracks, and then I guess one record will come out, and then down the road another record will come out. So, you know, and the guitar player has a Chris. He has a studio in his house that can do everything except the drums. It's not big enough. So he's got a vocal booth and everything like that, a little amp room that he can record in. So
that's cool.
It's really all he needs, you know. And they throw my ass in a studio somewhere else, and we'll do tracks and music coming out.
That's how most people are doing it. They'll do the drums in the best room that they can, and then they'll take the session home with them and do most of the guitars. Because I mean, the guitar software, and even like if they have an Axe Effects, it's just so good. You can get such good sounds where you can just you do the drums pro, and then you take it back home and start doing the rest. Vocals, maybe it depends on your situation, but for the most part, you could do everything but the drums at a home studio.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, thank God they handle it, because drums is all I'm capable of comprehending or doing or anything else. Like, I only know I know what the word interface is. I don't know what it does.
Right.
So
you've been selling a lot of them.
Yes, and all I have to do, all I'm capable of doing is hitting things with a stick, and you know, I'm good at that. But everybody, please handle everything else.
Right.
So, remember when we were on the road and I had that little pad that we did those sound effects, and I think I had you do it because I just couldn't handle it. You know, all it was just putting like an SD card in the thing, and I'm just like, low key, I don't know how to do this.
That's hilarious. So let's go back. Why are you a drummer? How did this happen?
Why am I a drummer? Because I can't sing or dance.
What made you decide like I want to do that? Figuring out that I couldn't play the guitar. Honestly, I got a guitar for Christmas. I wanted to be Bruce Springsteen, as you know, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It's just I can't comprehend doing this at the same time as this, and what the fuck that's supposed to do. And God forbid I have to tune the damn thing. I didn't understand it. Okay.
And so I kind of gave up on that. And then, so as the story goes, I live in New Jersey. I grew up in the Shore.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
No, how old are you then?
Oh, then I'm right around this time, about 15 years old. And I'm playing hockey. I'm friends with Jay, as I've said before. And his family have always been very sweet to us. And the story goes is one day I get a call I'm supposed to ref 2 hockey games that day. And I get a call from Becky Weinberg, Jay's mom. Says, hey, Tony, what are you doing after hockey camp today? Because I was doing a hockey camp with their daughter, Allie, who's my age.
Right.
And I said, I got to ref 2 games. And she goes, oh, can you cancel? And I went, well, that's kind of forward of you. But yeah, I guess. Why? And she goes, oh, well, Max told Becky that, Max told Allie that she could bring 2 friends to the E Street Band rehearsal in Asbury Park today, and she wants to bring you and my buddy Brian, who was in hockey camp with me.
Canceled.
Oh yeah, my stepdad Kevin took over those games for me, and she took us to Asbury Park Convention Hall, and this was like 2002, to watch the E Street Band rehearse for what was going to be the Rising tour, and it was like the greatest day of my life. I mean, I met every member of the band, Bruce a couple times. Like I got to be on the stage, under the stage, see how it worked. I asked Max Weinberg a completely incomprehensible question that he didn't understand because I was a nervous wreck, and just stared at me for half a second and then went on with his business. Like, okay, sure. Not in a weird way. It was
Do you
just
remember
like,
the question?
I was trying to ask him. Yeah, I was trying to ask him how he kept the beater head of his pedal against the drum head.
Right.
I didn't, because at the time I hadn't been a drummer and I didn't comprehend how he could do that and still play and make a sound. But it came out like, that thing you do with your foot, and is it maybe like, how do you do that? And does it make a thing? And he just kind of went,
all right, kid.
Oh yeah, so you do it like this. And my buddy Brian's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But it was the day. So we went home after that whole day. It was like, young Springsteen fan's greatest day of his life. And we went back to Jay's house so my parents could pick me up and stuff like that. And me and my buddy Brian, who played bass, and their daughter Allie, who plays, actually is a really good pianist,
right,
were in their basement. They had one of Max's old drum sets set up, and then a bass guitar down there, and some instruments and a keyboard. And we just sat behind the instruments, and my buddy Brian goes, "Hey, why don't you play something?" I'm like, "I'm not a fucking drummer. My dad was a drummer, but I don't know how to do this." But then we start playing Iron Man. It's the easiest thing for young kids to play. And I all of a sudden was just like, oh my God, I can actually play this. And so we start jamming, and my buddy Brian at one point stops and goes, "So you've never played the drums before?" And I'm like, "Nope." And it was that moment that I'm like, all right, I got the bug. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And it was literally that. I started playing on my couch cushions until I got a real kit that Christmas. Thanks, Mom. And after that, yeah, that's been my life, man.
Fuck yeah. You know what's funny, Tony, is that for a long time, so I stopped playing the piano. I played piano from like when I was 6 to like 12 or 13, and then that gap, I wanted to play the drums. I was into metal. Man. Even like in like hip hop and whatever. Just I wanted to play the drums so bad, but I lived in North Bergen in a tiny shitty apartment. There was no way. My parents were like, "Fuck no!" And drums are expensive.
Yeah,
like even
yes, they are.
Even cheapo, drums they're super expensive, and
a lot of shit.
And they just wouldn't let me. And I was envisioning in my head, like I would watch people on music videos or my friends that in their jam sessions, just like seeing what sound is coming out of where and why.
Yeah.
So that's my head, I knew how to play drums. All I needed was a drum set. It never
actual
happened.
Stuff. Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll play guitar." And that was that. Like, yeah, they got me a shitty acoustic guitar for my first one. Just to see if I was serious enough. They're like, "All right, if you can play for a year on this, then we'll get you a step up." And like the same thing on guitar, dude. Like I just focused my mind. I knew how to play that guitar before I got it in my hand, just from music.
Just because you knew.
Yeah.
I think people are wired that way, man. Like I could watch Max Weinberg or Lars Ulrich play the drums, and like I could kind of figure it out just by watching it.
Yeah.
I think, and you could do the same thing by guitar. I know I've told you this a couple of times, but Gotham Road played such an integral part of me as a hard rock / metal side of my musicianship. Honest to God, because I had met Michael at the ice rink, as you know, growing up playing hockey. Again, my whole life goes back to that fucking ice rink. But he was like, we met, and he told me about like he'd been in the Misfits, and I was like, wait, why aren't you a millionaire? Because the only reason I thought that was because I knew nothing about the music business, and all I knew about the Misfits, honestly, was that Metallica covered their songs. Yeah. And I thought, well, if that happens, you're a millionaire, right? That's just how it works. But he told me he had a band and that he was playing at the Brighton Bar in Long Branch. And my father took me out to see you guys. And I remember Michael gave us like all the merch and didn't want to take any money. He was really sweet about it and stuff like that. But I just remember being kind of blown away by that record. Just the sound of Seasons of the Witch kicking in, it just to this day is so ingrained in my brain. I've listened to it a million times. And Paulie's work on that record, holy crap! At the time, like I'm just at that point getting like I grew up on Springsteen. Metallica was my next big thing, and I'm just learning like what heavy metal drumming is and how hard rock drumming is. And all of a sudden to hear the shit Paulie was doing, was just mind-blowing to me. It was incredible. And I remember, I'll never forget going up to him at the Brighton show and being like, can I see your drum set? And he was super cool. Like, he was like, your drum set's my drum set, man.
Right.
And do you remember on one of the last tours I did with you guys, we played the Brighton and Paulie came and played up. And he jumped on and played. I was just like full fucking circle, man. So cool. This was awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah. Paulie was just on that record. It's just it's raw playing power. Like Paulie's just a monster, super powerful, hard hitter. And it doesn't hurt that he's got the loudest crashes in the fucking planet. That right crash was just like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
That's why I have trouble hearing these days.
Such like I could gush on Paulie's playing for hours, but like he is such a unique player, man. To me, that sound was like nobody's like Paulie Lifeless. You know, there's guys. There's nobody like Ringo. There's nobody like Lars, and there's nobody like Paulie Lifeless. You know what I mean? Like he always blew me away.
Dude, it's no joke because maybe it's just because I played with Paulie, but he's got a signature style where I know it's him on the Bliss Kid records that he plays. I know it's him. And all the other bands that he's filled in with that he's done session work for, I'm like, that's Paulie. You know? And when Michael would get him in to do like some tracks, when he did some stuff on Lost Skeleton, right?
Yes.
And,
yes, he did.
So I'm just
I had to learn that shit.
I'm
Thanks,
just like,
Paulie.
that's Paulie. Like you could just tell his fills, like they were distinct. Like he's got a very distinct sound, and that's probably the biggest compliment that you can give to someone is that I know it's your playing, even though I don't, I didn't know, but I can tell.
That's what makes an Hall of Fame caliber player, man. Right. You know, whether you make $1 million or not, like you put your own stamp on this thing that 1 million people do. You put your own stamp and feel on it, and Ringo is one of my heroes because he's so perfectly fucked up. He's so weird. He really is. If you listen to Ringo play, it's so fucking weird and fucked up, but he's perfect.
Right.
You know, that's what makes great players, and Paulie has that in him, too. So.
Did you ever see that Ringo commercial? It was like a Skechers shoe commercial. Yeah. And like, they don't show the part where the kid who's watching Ringo was playing. Like, yeah. But like, you could tell the kid was probably just like doing blast beats and like crazy, like, right? But you see like Ringo just like doing like, and like, and the kid's just like, he looks over and he's sweating, and kid looks over and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like a Skechers commercial. Like,
Skechers, yeah.
What?
There's an old cartoon like that where it's like it has a guy, like a teacher standing over a drummer, and the drummer's like, and you see all the notes and just like the fast sticks, and the teacher's like, you're amazing. And then the next panel is a drummer going, that, and the guy standing over him says, you're hired.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Big difference.
I feel that way when I watch the drummer for Michael Jackson's put a bunch of playthroughs on his channel.
I saw that.
Oh my God, dude. Even though it's so
Sugarfoot Moffat, yeah.
Yeah, even though it's so simplistic, he's got such a great pocket where your hair stand up a little bit about just how fucking awesome it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's like I can get that stuff impresses me and just does it for me more than like, than some of the crazy technician guys, which I can appreciate and could never do in a million years. But, to see a guy like, my heroes like Dave Grohl or Max Weinberg kind of sit back and play the song and like convey what the song is trying to do, to me, that hits me harder than almost anything else. And, a guy like Neil Peart, my hero too, did both, so like that was
found a way to do both.
Oh man.
Did you take lessons when you started, or were you just like jamming with people?
I was just jamming with people. I one of my biggest regrets is not.
So you never took lessons?
I took a couple lessons in college for credit.
Gotcha.
A couple credits, but I couldn't read. Still can. That's one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't do that because it just would have opened up bigger doors, for me and stuff like that. To been able to like get something as like a cruise ship gig to where like I could just literally get a piece of paper and play this gig and make a bunch of money and then go home. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
You ain't going home on a cruise ship, dude. You're like on a
Yeah,
cruise
well,
ship for fucking.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, yeah. Jumping off. I'm out of here, guys. See ya. Splash. But I got buddies who do that. I got buddies who play in like Beatles tribute bands who go on cruise ships and make a decent buck, man.
Right.
You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know,
No,
so
hell no.
I wish I did, but it wasn't. But at the same time, I'm glad I learned how to play songs. Like, to me, like, you know, I learned, you know, what's the most important thing in a Springsteen song? The vocals, his lyrics, and the feeling that he's pushing.
Right.
And if you as a drummer can help learn how to do that, you can do anything, you know?
When I first started playing with other people, it was a big deal of like, all right, you're pretty good at drums specifically, but like, can you fucking jam or what? Because it seems like we can't jam. And like, I would always push those people out. I'm like, we should just be able to fucking play, whether it's just fun songs that we like or just fucking make it up on the spot. Even if it's for 10 minutes, we should be able to jam.
Yep.
And a lot of people really don't have that ability. It's crazy.
No. And you know what? Honestly, I feel like I got lucky in playing with the people that I've had over my time with Michael or my time with other bands. Was I got to play with almost exclusively really great players and feel guys. You know, like I really, you know, Carmen and Johnny B. Morbid was phenomenal. It's still one of my favorite people to jam with. You know, Joe had such a great on-stage presence and like intensity going as a bass player. And when I filled in for you guys in Darrow as a front man, that was fun to watch.
Forgot
Dean,
about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Dean playing, you know, like, and obviously like you know, playing with, you know, when you first, so I was with Michael. For those who don't know, I was with Michael when we. I forget what year, but it was like I joined with Johnny B. Morbid and Chibo Jones and stuff like that. Did a couple tours.
So I guess that's like then 2010-ish.
I think so. Yeah, I wasn't married yet, so. Right. But and then he brought you and Joe back into the band, and he kept me around, and I was like, oh shit, this is like 3/4 of Gotham Road. Right. Holy fuck, this is crazy. So. That was super cool, and being able to play with you guys was kind of like a weird dream come true in a sense, like another full circle thing. It was like I saw you guys play at the Bright and thought this band should be opening for Metallica, and now I'm kind of in that band in a weird way. In a weird way, so it was very, even though it wasn't Gotham Road, it was Michael, but like it was very cool.
We did play with you guys. Songs, right? We played.
Yes,
Seasons
we did.
Of the Witch. Yeah.
Yes, we did. We played Melts Away, Seasons of the Witch.
Sidewalk Ends ever? Sidewalk Ends.
Yes, a couple times. A couple times. We tried to do. We did Spider-Man once or twice.
Right.
That was rad.
All right. So you play drums. You jam with your friends. Did you have a band before you met Michael, or no?
Yes. Well, I had a bunch of bands. I had my band with my best friends back home, and then I started getting hired to play the drums in college, which was weird to me. I'm like, oh my God, you want to pay me to do this?
They get hired one time.
Yeah.
Forget it.
You're fucked. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. It's because there's not that many of us, and you know, and then there's a fraction of those guys that are good, can show up and will actually learn the songs.
Right.
But yeah, and I started getting like hired to play the drums for people. I'm like, oh my God, you can actually make money doing this? This is cool. And then, but I was in a band, even though the band was a solo artist. We were a band, even though I didn't pay for anything. He did because it was his name. It was a guy named Evan Russell Saffer. We did a little bit of touring, but that's when I opened for Michael and doing when he was doing Marquee.
So that's how you kind of re-met him? Like,
I'll never forget it. It's a crazy story because we were on. I get the phone call from the guy Evan that I'm playing for. He goes, "Hey, we're going to open up 3 shows for Marky Ramone," and I went, "Marky Ramone? Wait, Michael's playing." You know, I hadn't seen Michael in years at this point. It'd been a long time. So I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. Michael sings for him, doesn't he?" And I went, "Oh shit!" And I found out, yeah, he does. I'm like, I'm going to get to see him again. And somewhere in Cleveland, we show up at the venue, and we get out of the van, and all of a sudden I see Michael walking across the floor, And I go, "Hey, Mike," and he turns and he looks at me and he does this, Tony Baptist, what the fuck are you doing in Cleveland? And I'm like, I'm the drummer for your opener, man. And that's kind of how we reconnected, and we stayed in touch. And it was like literally 3 months or a couple months later when he was like, "Hey, you want to go on tour?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That's crazy. Do you know who was playing drums before you or no? I can't remember. I can't even remember. Maybe he didn't even have one. Maybe he was just doing acoustic stuff.
He was doing acoustic stuff around that time, and Carmen had been kind of with him as a drummer / other guitar / bass player.
Gotcha.
And I think they were supposed to tour. I think there was a drummer from a band called the guy's called the Milkman. Like,
okay.
If you're watching this, dude, no disrespect, I can't remember your real name, but he was known as the Milkman.
Right.
And I think he was the drummer in a band called Divinity Destroyed or something like that. I don't know, somewhere in like along the Jersey Shore. But apparently he couldn't do the tour, and that's when Chibo Jones was like, or Frankie was like, "Hey, Michael, what about that kid Tony? You know?" And that's when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll give him a call."
That's crazy. That's crazy.
See, everything comes back to that fucking hockey rink, man.
Yeah. So who was in? All right. So you do your first Graves tour. Who's in the band? So it's you, Carmen, Christopher.
Trying to be morbid. No, not yet.
Okay.
It was me, Carmen, and Chibo Jones or Frankie.
Is that almost
and,
home? When is that? What is that?
No, that was the War of Information
Right.
tour, and it was kind of like, you know, I think Michael was trying to. I won't put words in his mouth, but I think it was kind of trying to be like the anti-Misfit Michael Graves tour, because it was kind of like, let's wear bright clothes, let's like not wear black, and we're gonna do like reimagined versions of his songs, and like Michael will do like 2 Misfit songs acoustically. And
I'm getting a history lesson on the chat, by the way. Fucking.
Oh, what's that?
Gary's saying he did acoustic for years before that. It was the first time I saw Michael was the War of Information tour when Tony joined Chibo, Johnny B. Yeah, you guys were like the first electric thing after the acoustic thing.
Yeah, I remember it was promoted as like the first electric band in years.
Right.
So that was exciting, you know. And then did that tour. Then we did a second tour. But we actually went to the studio and did the record Vagabond.
You recorded on that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. That was a hell of a learning experience.
It started out.
So it did not start well. We went into we did a couple pre-production rehearsals, and everything seemed great.
When you tell me it didn't start well, it concerns me, because drums usually start the process. So
that's right, and it wasn't going well for me at all.
What happened?
So this was my first time really kind of doing a legit record. You know, I'd done other things, and I thought I was pretty fucking good. I could play with a click track. That wasn't the problem. And so it's not feeling right. The first day we're supposed to get like 5 songs done. We got 1.5.
Right.
And it just wasn't feeling well. It just wasn't feeling good. And I remember I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand what I wasn't doing right, because I felt like I was playing the parts. I'm playing the parts right. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm not fucking up. I'm not getting off click. I'm not rushing. Like, what the fuck is going on? And Michael's not happy with it. And you could tell. At one point, this is a great story. Everybody's kind of frustrated because it's taking forever. And at one point, Michael says, "Tony, count the song off." I said, "Okay." And I go, and he goes, No, stop. Tony, count the song off. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess, did you not hear? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Stop. Tony, count the song off." And I'm like, "Oh, what? Do you want me to like say it like out loud?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4." And then I'm like, "Oh, Jesus." Right. And we get out of the room, and it's just, everybody's tense, and it's just not good. And
those are situations where I'd be like, "I've been doing that, motherfucker. What the fuck are you saying? If you want something, say it."
And I'm like, but it's like an experience for me. I'm trying to give this guy what he wants, but I'm not the boss here. I gotta do it, right? So we end up going to bed, because there was like lofts that you could sleep in the studio.
So you stayed at the studio?
Mm-hmm. Wake up the next morning, and it's still, and we try it again. Not going well. and
Damn,
we end up
dude.
Michael.
I know how that gets, man. You start
Yeah.
getting that negative attitude, and it's the momentum of that picks up, dude. And like someone has got to break it. Like someone has to just be like, all right, listen. This attitude is just perpetuating the problem. Like we have to break this ice. Either have some pizza and throw fucking like spitballs at each other and fuck around, or it's never gonna get off the ground.
Oh yeah, and I remember. Well, so at a certain point, I think Michael and a guy I was working with at the time we step outside onto the porch, and we kind of take a breath, and it was kind of a pep talk, but it wasn't really. It was kind of like, come on, guys, but something clicked. Something clicked right after that. What I was missing was dynamics.
Right.
I was in there ready to go, balls to the wall. And what I was missing was kind of like the ebbs and flows of the music, right? And so all of a sudden I kind of figured it out. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was just like that all of a sudden we clicked. The rest of that day we did like 8 songs and we blew through them. And, the third day 3 for drum tracking was like we only had to do one more, got it done real quick. And, Michael was like, you did it, man. You're like, he always uses the hockey analogy. He's like, you were down 3-0, but you pulled the goalie and you tied it up and you did it,
And you're
so
like, wait a minute, I'm the goalie.
Yeah, right. But yeah, man, it was a hell of a learning experience. So we, doing that record taught me a lot about, what to expect in the studio and what to expect from, somebody who's been writing the songs and wants to hear them a certain way, So that was experience. And then we toured that record as a 3-piece.
And just for the people that are watching this, Michael's terrible, awful, god-awful at describing what he wants. He knows it in his head, and he'll do these hand gestures and noises, and he'll say these words that mean absolutely nothing to the person that he's saying it to. He knows what it is, but he's not a good teacher. Like, he's not a guy to express it of what he wants, which is understandable. He's not a drummer, and he's not a drummer. He's not a technical musician. He's a great singer, but he doesn't.
There's nothing wrong with that,
He just doesn't know the technical aspects to explain to you what the fuck he wants. So a lot of the times we're just looking at each other like, I don't fucking know. Try it a different way.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, do you remember Europe last, my last European trek with you guys? And he had wanted the kick drum patterns different and stuff like that.
We tried everything.
And we tried everything. I mean, I tried everything, man. It was like but do you remember that night it was Belgium. Remember that night in Belgium? We played that club that was like downstairs and then we stayed in the venue that was up top. And something clicked that night. Again, something just clicked. And I remember him, on stage, all of a sudden, like, he's facing the other way to me, right? So I don't see him. I see the back. But at one point, he jumps around to me and goes like this. And I'm like, all right, I got it tonight, Oh, man. And I remember, what was it, Tom, our driver, later that evening comes down and sees me. He's like, Michael can't stop saying how great of a drummer you are. And I'm like, awesome. I got it tonight.
This whole tour has been fucking hell. This whole tour has been tense. Oh, man. I hate it when we get like that, man, because you just want to have a good time, and it stops you from having a good time. Like I just want to jam, vibe off the people. And when you get that kind of fucking energy on the stage, it just makes everything like, oh, here we go. We're walking on eggshells. If it fucks up once, we got to fucking worry about this the whole fucking song. Because once it happens, he had a hard time, in my opinion, of coming. You could play the rest of the shit right, but once it went off just a little bit, to him it just kept going off. He could never come back.
Sure.
And
that was a tough tour, but to me it was like, at the end of the day, it was another really great learning experience because, I'm playing for an artist who, is paying me to do a job.
And you just want to do it as best as possible.
And you know what? Whether if he says to me, "Hey Tony, you're going to play tonight upside down, wearing a thong, and you're not going to allow use any sticks,"
Right.
I'd have to be like, "Well, shit." But all right, he's the boss. Like I gotta try to give this guy what he's asking for, because that is my job. At least how I view my job is like, I'm here to do play the best I can and give this guy what he wants. If he wants me to play Dick or Bones like a reggae beat, I gotta do it. It's his thing. And artists, are again, and this is gonna sound funny, but artists are kind of, they're eccentric, and they're it's kind of why they're good at what they do. I'm not an artist. I hit things with a stick. Like I'm not that creative, but I like playing for good artists and people who have a vision. And sometimes those people either can't communicate a certain way, or they're working or they're expecting something, or they're just in a shit mood,
right.
But you have to learn how to get through that, and totally. That was that particular tour was an experience in getting through that. But not to say that that was a one-off, in my opinion, of all the other tours and all the other things that I've done. They were all pretty fantastic, So
yeah, I think with the bigger stuff that we started doing, that the more the expectations were to be great, and I'm all about being great. Like I thrive in that. Everything that we were doing at that time was like, all right, everything's got to be a step up from the last one, and we got to be better than the last time. And I'm all about that. It's just like, Jesus, sometimes you got to fucking let morale pick up a little bit,
Yeah.
Fucking, someone is saying, Peck Raves, does Tony remember in Houston when the Monitor started smoking?
Yes, I do remember that.
My father's saying hello. Hello, father.
I do remember that. I don't remember the venue, but I do remember a Monitor smoking in Houston. I think I played like a couple different venues in Houston. Yeah.
I guess this is pre-me, because I don't remember a smoking Monitor.
I think it was, yeah.
Was it on fire?
It was getting there. I think I saw red. Where there's smoke,
Damn.
Oh my God. I do remember in Houston being a crazy person and just deciding to walk through the darkened city to see the ballpark.
Right.
Because that was my, Loki will attest to this, that on tours, I always needed to find something interesting or ridiculous to see, or anything to do with baseball. So I would want to wander to the baseball stadiums that were near our venue, or any site of some horrific massacre, or, historical thing. That would be me. I actually wanted to say when I came on here, I'm sorry, I think you got the boringest motherfucker you've ever toured with.
Totally. No, you're not boring, but you are morbid. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
Morbid. Oh,
well,
there's a massacre that happened here. I have to go see it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was the Alamo. It was the Kennedy's assassination site. Yeah.
The other thing that you're famous for doing is, I started it off and I never explained it, but I think Joe gave you the name Backstage.
Probably.
And can you tell us why you're named Backstage, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, it's simply, and you can add to this, is simply because my first question at any place we pulled up was, hey, where's the backstage and what's the Wi-Fi password?
Yeah. And I'd be just getting in, like the gear had just been like put on stage. I'm wiring shit up. I'm like, Tony, I've been here as long as you have. How would I know what this shit is yet? He's like, well, you're a tour manager. I know, but just give me a fucking minute, all right? Like, but he wouldn't give me a minute. What he would do was he'd just start opening doors at the venue. Yep. Like he fucking owned the place. He would go, like, sometimes it'd be a kitchen, and like he'd walk in, oh, it's not it. And he would just walk. Yeah. He would just walk away to the next door and start opening.
How many times would I find the place, find the back room or whatever, and be like, guys, it's over here. Found it.
And now it was. I don't want to call you cute, but it was the cutest thing. Tony would like run up to us, guys, come here. I found where the backstage is. It's over here. The code to the door is fucking 587. They're gonna bring in food in about an hour. We got pizzas coming. Sound check's gonna be, and like he would tell us the whole fucking spiel of everything backstage. And Tony eventually became Tony Backstage.
You know, I just
Wi-Fi
loved...
password is banana.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I think any musician that might end up watching this that has been on tour or whatever, like, I don't know. I think you might relate. I loved everything about the ritual of getting to the venue, putting your stuff in the backstage, chill, like, this is my home for the day, you know, like, ooh, the backstage has a TV. This is cool today, you know.
And
like,
he would
ooh, there's a
rate them.
fridge.
He would rate them. Like, he'd be like, oh my God, this one's step up. You know.
Johnny B. Morbid had a great idea of doing he wanted to do a green room coffee table book.
Should have.
Where you just take pictures of all the green rooms that we've been to.
And when live became a thing, we should have gone live at every backstage and like rated it.
Yeah. God knows if we'll ever get to do that again. But
Right.
I don't know, man. I just loved, like, it was just like, this is my home for the night. I'm going to get cozy, you know? So it made me feel like a little important.
Yeah,
more
man.
important than I
remember
was, you know?
the couple of shows in Station where you were playing like those outside amphitheaters and you fucking show the pictures of backstage.
Oh my God!
And I'd be somewhere in fucking like at some basement. I'd be like, you son of a bitch.
Well, to be fair, I did a couple big gigs with Station like that, and one of them was at an amphitheater in Maryland. And I mean, my eyes were like, I wish you were there because you would have seen me like, you know, like a squirrel on crack. Like our name was like, we had the automated door and there was catering. I got to experience catering. It was incredible. You know, like
awesome.
There was a pool backstage. Like it was like, Tony Backstage was at his height at that point.
Yeah.
You know,
that's badass. And you know, like when you cut your teeth like we do on some terrible fucking tours, that's when you really start appreciating when you get treated fucking well, man.
Oh yeah.
And so that brings us back. Was that tour with Michael your first tour ever? Like that was the first time you went?
The War of Information was, yes. Yeah. I'd done a couple of regional things, 3 days, 4 days.
So versus your expectation of what touring was in your mind to what you lived out in reality, how would you describe that? What would you say about it?
It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I remember being in the van heading to the first show wondering, I wonder if I'm going to be one of these musicians that like hates touring. I don't want to be, but I don't know because I've never done it.
Right.
And by the end of that tour, I'm like, can we go again, please? Like it was, you know, but to be fair too, man, like my first touring experience, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky because I didn't have to be in my own individual or my own original band that I'm responsible for, that I had to pay for. I didn't have to go on tour and come home broke.
Yeah.
I wasn't shelling out money for gas or for hotels or anything. I wasn't sleeping on people's floors most of the time, or like on the van floor. Or in the van in parking lots for the most part. Like I got to, go on the road my first time, get paid to do it, get hotels most of the time, and like get back room and people feeding you. Like it was awesome. Like I got buddies who are, from Jersey and from wherever that are amazing musicians that, have never experienced that and might not ever experience that. They're touring, if they even get to tour, they spend a ton of money to do it. And you know what, like, man, good on you, man. You got the drive and the determination that I might not have been able to do with an original band. I just found my niche in like working for other people, and so I got lucky, man. I loved it. Loved every second of it.
It's definitely a different monster when it's your responsibility. And I've definitely had to deal with that on multiple occasions. Gotham Road, honestly, was a startup band like that. Even though we had Michael, it was.
Oh yeah.
We weren't shit, and it did come out of our pocket. We were DIY as fuck, and that was my baby as much as it was his, So I had to learn the hard way. Yeah, I'm a rookie. I'm not a rookie, but I'm learning what it's like, but also tour managing. It was weird. It was a weird time of my life, but when it became time to do it for Darrow and shit like that, those experiences got me like. Darrow had no business touring 3 times across the country and internationally, but we did, So
and you know what, I can attest firsthand how you brought that experience into my life when you came back into Michael's band. Where we were as a band from right before you came in to when I finished playing with Michael. it was night and day, you know, and that to me is a testament to your, to your hard work and, ability to not only just to get things done, but to take care of us, right. Michael included, and to the band and everybody. You were tour dad, right. During those tours.
Sometimes to everyone's chagrin, but for the most part, for everyone's good.
Before we go, I have to tell a story, but we'll get to that, I guess, maybe near the end. We'll get to tour stories or whatever.
But so in those first tours, you were traveling with Johnny's van, right? Or
mm-hmm.
or no? Yeah.
And the one that spun out and got into an accident in Montana.
Was that your I guess your most near-death experience on tour, or no?
No.
Well,
you were with me with the other one. Well, you were half with us in the other one. That's the story I want to tell.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. Do you remember San Francisco? Like, all I'll say is San Francisco. It was the tour with me, you, and Joe. I forget the name of it, and Michael. Do you remember like playing in Pacifica in that area?
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
Oh! You're talking about the place I didn't want to go to, so I got hammered before we got there, so I didn't have to fucking remember going there.
Here's how I remember it. So we played Pacifica, California. It's a little bit south of San Francisco. This dude, I can't remember his name.
Zach.
No disrespect, sorry. Zach. I really don't know where he came from. But he joined us in Los Angeles and just did the rest of the tour with us. And so Loki, so to everybody watching, Loki was tour dad. He took care of everybody, made sure shit was working. If you were fucking around, he'd get you back in line and stuff like that. Like he couldn't have had a better of a tour manager / guitar player.
And I know things went when things are a bad idea.
Yes, absolutely. Now, to be fair to him, that's a lot of responsibility. And it's a responsibility I've never wanted and never have even come close to wanting to do. So one night in Pacifica, he's like, you know what? This is how I remember it. I don't know if you remember the same way. I may be wrong, but so I seem to remember you going, you know what? Tonight, fuck everybody. I'm having one for Loki. I'm getting hammered. So leave me the fuck alone. Don't, essentially this is my night to like let loose. Cause we really didn't have many days off. So we played the show. I'm getting hammered. Fuck y'all. Like, this is my night. And you deserved it. You definitely deserved the night to do that because of everything you were doing. So that the dude Zach says, hey, there's these people. They're really rich and they have this big house and they may want to invest in the band or I don't know, some bullshit. And he's like, we're going to stay with them tonight.
He made it sound a lot nicer than it was. Well,
yeah. And I'm the guy that's like, I don't want to stay in somebody's house. Like maybe I'm spoiled or whatever, but I was just like, can we just get a fucking hotel? I don't even care if it's like a Motel 6. Like, do we have to fucking go to these people's house? Right. But not my decision. So, so we get in the van after the show and Loki's hammered and he's out. Like, he's just on another planet.
Yeah.
And I didn't blame him because he deserved the night. Michael's driving. And he's like, oh, it's only a half hour from where we're going. Okay. Well, half hour goes by. We're driving. And we're like going up a mountain. And hour goes by. And we're like, where the fuck are we? Hour and a half goes by. It's like, where the fuck are we going?
Were a half hour away.
Yeah. And all of a sudden we get to this gate. The gate opens. And it's a dirt road. And I'm like, okay, I guess they must live here. No, it was the entrance to like some private wooded off the grid estates, because next thing I know, we're in a van, remember, on a dirt road with a trailer going up a mountain that is a 1-lane dirt road, which if you look out the passenger side window and look down, it's just steep. It's just hill.
Yeah.
Meaning,
no guardrail.
If no guardrail, no nothing, no lights, no anything, which means one wrong move of that steering wheel, we're all dead. We're going over and this van is flipping down this like wooded hill and we just keep going higher and higher and higher. I remember seeing clouds.
Yeah, it was at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, and I remember, I'll never forget, Michael is like just steely-eyed, like making sure that we don't die.
And to add something, Michael is as blind as a fucking bat at night. He's got those glasses, but like he has someone else should be driving for him at night, especially when it's, there's no lights up out on that mountain. It's just fucking dirt road.
So we keep going. I'll never forget. Joe was sitting to my right. We're all like really fucking nervous. And I'll never forget seeing Joe kind of like look over the edge and then just looking back to me like this.
Yes.
And while me and Joe are staring at each other with horror in our eyes, that like we're gonna fall off this. Like, where the fuck are we going? What the fuck is? You are in the back laughing your ass off. You're just like wailing, like I don't give a fuck, man. Like this is great. I was laughing at the at you, but at the situation.
Because I think at that, like I had already known how ridiculous this was going to be. Also, like yes, I was drunk. I got drunk at the show, but also I was kind of perturbed that we were going to this place, and I'm like, no one wants to take my recommendations. Okay. I'm gonna fucking drink. And by the time, like what was promised was not what was presented. So by the time it was this part, I'm like, I was drunk and blacked out, but then already started coming to by the time I'm starting to laugh. And I'm laughing because I knew it was going to be this way.
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, not only like we might die here, but like if it rained, we're never getting out of here because it's a dirt road. Like we're going to have to wait here like 3 days for everything to dry. And like, whatever. So we we actually finally get there after like the most intense like couple hours of my life. And we park and it's these people, they were nice. I can't blame them, but like, we couldn't get you out of the van.
No, I slept in
the van. You fell asleep half in the van, half out of the van, if I remember correctly. The same way. Yep. And let me tell you, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this story, but I'm sorry, Joe. I have to tell this story. Joe and Johnny.
That's right.
Johnny Knollwood
was on that tour.
Yes, he was. We go inside, and it's like the coldest I've ever been indoors because they didn't have heat. It was like off the grid. Yeah. So I remember trying to sleep like on a couch under like 5 like actual animal skin blankets. It was this kind of place. And Joe, I'm lying in bed trying to sleep. I'm exhausted. I'm annoyed, and I'm just like, I gotta fucking go to bed. I just hear Joe and Knollwood talking to each other, going, "Dude," because they must have been smoking or whatever. Because like they just go, "Dude, did you see her? The woman that owned the house? Like, dude, she's definitely a witch, dude. Like, you see the animal skins on the wall? Dude, she's gonna like skin us in the middle of the night. And dude, go to the kitchen, get some salt." Get some salt and sprinkle it across the doorway. Witches can't cross the doorway if there's salt. I swear to God. And I'm just lying there going, oh God, what is going on? I swear.
So these people were rich.
Yeah.
But I think they were like television show producers. They had like produced a whole bunch of shows for, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But they were people that did not want anything to do with the grid. They were off the electrical source. They had solar panels. Like everything was off the grid. Everything was off the grid. Pumped water, fucking you name it. They fucking had animals to sustain themselves. All good. I get it. But listen,
really sweet people too. Really nice. They made us breakfast that next morning. Like I remember they coming out and being like, "Oh, we didn't know you guys had a trailer."
Yeah.
And like, well, somebody thought, coming up here was a good idea. So, but do you remember waking up the next morning?
Let me tell you what happened when I woke up.
I want to hear this. I can't wait.
I woke up and I'm alone, halfway hanging out of the van with the doors are open. And they had a dog, right? Because I guess I was playing with a dog at some point. But my recollection of what's actually happened was hazy at best. I knew we were at this house that Zach had recommended, but I didn't know what the situation was. That it was off the grid, that it was up a mountain. Didn't remember that. And I'm waking up and the sun's out. It's fucking early in the morning. I'm like, I got piss, maybe take a shit. I don't know, but like, where do I go? There's a farm over here. There's a barn with animals. There's a house. There's another. I'm like, I don't know where to go. The doors might be locked. all right, keys are in the van, or I have the keys. Let's just fucking take a drive. I'll go to a fucking Flying J or something, or a truck stop, and go to the bathroom, get some breakfast, whatever. So I'm fucking on my phone, and I'm not getting any service. And there's no Wi-Fi coming. And I get my tablet, no fucking service. I'm like, where the fuck? I guess that's because we're in the mountain. Okay, fine. Whatever. I'll just find the main road. I take the van out. And I start driving down this mountain. And I'm like... And in the mid-daytime, it was bright as anything. Blue skies, super clear.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared shitless driving down this mountain. Because literally... It was the fucking cut. There was a cutoff, and it's not like a gradual decline. No, it was a fucking mountain. You're falling, and the thing's going. It's flipping over, and when you land, you're gonna explode.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. I'm like, where are we? And like when I was looking over the cliff, we were so high up.
Yeah,
we were so high up in the clouds,
I
like
remember.
you said. And I'm like, I'm fucking white knuckling the steering wheel, like. I'm like, oh, all right, well, now I've gone halfway down this mountain, and there's fucking almost no gas. My phone still doesn't have service. I can't turn around because it's a fucking... There's no room to turn. Like, you can only go down the road now. If a car was coming up, who fucking knows? I don't know. You figure it out. I got a trailer.
Yeah.
And finally, like, there was another street, another house where you could pull off, and I pulled into it. And apparently those people got a little upset that I did it.
I heard. Yeah, I remember that.
Because all I did was go onto their property so I could make like a K-turn. I'm like, fuck this. I can't go down this mountain right now. There's not... I understand what's happening here. I got to go back up. So I go into their driveway, do like a K-turn, get the trailer, and I go right back to where I fucking came from. Go up there. And then... You know, we eat breakfast, we do that whole thing. When we were leaving, those people were up there with their fucking rifles. Like, why are you going up on our property? They're fucking aimed rifles at us. Like, whoa, we're invited guests. Sorry I went 3 feet onto your driveway, dude.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
I remember you were livid.
That was my morning.
Yeah.
And I walk inside. I walk inside, I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, who fucking did this?
Oh God, yeah. I remember. I was almost laughing at how mad you were because I was just as mad.
The breakfast was
and yeah, that shit was like really good bacon. I remember. But do you remember that? Just a little addendum to that story. Do you remember where we played the next day? It was like I forget where. It was more like inland California, but like, do you remember we were at the? It was at this. We had the back room of this. Right. Place I would know, and it was like this bar, and there was these like two old fat dudes that were hanging out backstage, like in our dressing room.
Right. Oh, I do remember.
And they kind of wouldn't leave.
I do remember.
And you would ask them.
I had to get a little loud.
Yeah, and the guy like pretty much like, fuck you, this is my bar, I'm not fucking leaving. Right. And I remember you come over with a fucking bottle of Maker's Mark and been like, you know what? Maybe we got off the wrong foot. Let's drink, you know.
That's usually a good de-escalator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
that was a hell of a 24 hours.
I could tell you're a drunk asshole. Let's have another drink.
Yeah. Oh, Christ. So yeah, that was the closest to death I think I've ever gone on tour.
Yeah, going down that hill was crazy, and like just my mind was raging. I think that made it worse because the more I went down this mountain and the more I could see off the cliff, the more my mind was like, I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody. But you know, all good.
Oh shit.
I don't remember. There was never another situation like that. The only time I really felt in danger was when Zach was driving, and like, remember there was like these crazy crosswinds in Nebraska, and you could just see the land was fucking flying across the van. It was just shaking the whole van.
Oh yeah.
And like he drove it like a school bus. Like his hand was like, you watch his hands, and they were like going like this, like it was a school bus.
I remember him driving somewhere in California, and I had fallen asleep because I can't stay awake in the van at night. And I had fallen asleep, and all I remember waking up to was your voice from the back. Zach was driving, and your voice in the back going, "Look out!" And he had been veering.
That's right. I think he fell asleep.
He might have. I don't know, because I had fallen asleep, but I wasn't fucking driving. So I just remember waking up to you screaming, "Look out!" really loud in the back. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was going off the road.
Yeah.
Those are scary, scary times, man.
The only other fun one was
that's the other reason why in Pacifica, why I'm like, yo, I need a night, because I didn't trust him to drive, and he was really the only other. Joe didn't have a license. Johnny Norwood, I was not going to let drive anything. You know?
I can't drive at night.
I can't drive at night. Michael really can't drive at night. He was good during the day to give me a spell. And Zach, I just did not want driving. We didn't have Arturo yet, right?
No.
Yeah. So
thank God for Arturo.
I'm I gotta really I gotta do all the major hauls here, because I don't trust anyone to drive this thing. And Michael's fucking busy too. He's doing other business when I'm driving. So
sure, absolutely. Though the only other one I remember is Tom, our European driver, hitting that woman on a scooter.
Yeah, I'm lucky I wasn't there.
I wasn't in the van. That was Arturo. I was with you guys. I remember. I'll never forget you just kind of walking in, literally from into the back room, being like, so they hit somebody on a scooter. I was just like, oh Jesus.
Right.
It was just like it was nothing. Oh yeah, another fucking thing. Oh God.
Because mostly I was just found it comical that they were explaining to me the situation and I'm not there. I'm like, well, you gotta figure it out, because I'm not there. I didn't see it, and I'm not going there because I have no way to get there. So I understand the driver hit this fucking girl on a moped, but he's got to figure it out. And you guys need to get back here. Sorry.
That was at the end of that tour, and it was just like a cherry on the cake of that fucking thing, man. Because
remember, he was shit. He used to say shit that he never got into an accident, that he knew what he was doing, and we should shut up because we don't know how to drive in Europe, and that's how they drive. He's just doing what he needs to. And he's like, I literally never hit anyone. I literally never hit anyone. And Goofy's like, well, now you literally have.
I remember you said that.
Goolsby hated that guy. That's another one. Goolsby was always good for when things were getting hairy on the road.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I can't do the Goolsby face, but he would look over. If I was two people in between me and Goolsby, he'd just look over and be like, do you see what's happening right now?
I got one, man. I remember. So it was usually me and him in the front of the van. It was a 3-person seater in the front of that van, and it was him against the window, me in the middle because I was small, and then the driver on our right. And I remember sleeping in the van, and all of a sudden waking up to, I think we were in Germany. I don't know if we were on the Autobahn or whatever, but I just remember all of a sudden waking up. I'm asleep, and I just wake up to vroom, this car going 100 miles an hour, literally going around us because we were changing lanes, and this guy literally, and literally just kind of waking up like this, and looking at Goolsby, and he's just looking back at me like.
That guy was going so fast that the air from underneath our van got sucked out when he passed us. He must have been going 180.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
And this douchebag almost hit him. There was one other really hairy part. Remember, we were in the Swiss Alps, and it was beautiful and
gorgeous.
And there were so many beautiful places to stop, and we're like, yo, Tom, fucking get a scenic fucking bypass where you could pull off, and Swiss Alps it's large, dude. We're driving through them for 2 or 3 hours, and
at least,
at the end of it, we didn't have much of our drive left, and he just pulls over at a spot. We had driven through the most beautiful parts of the mountain, awesome scenic views, and there's this fucking rock quarry. I
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
my God,
you know,
yeah.
we were all already upset, and like this dude pulls over in a place where the shoulder's not big enough to pull over. And there's no like bypass, like we're not going up like a ramp or anything. Like no, he stops the car in the middle, like out on the shoulder that's not big enough for the van, next to a rock quarry where there's just nothing to fuck. We're gonna look at these rocks. We just passed these majestic waterfalls, and like we were up at the top with snow and the fog. It was beautiful, and you stopped at a rock quarry, dude. Not only
That's
that,
amazing.
but
I remember
cars are
that,
just
yeah.
whizzing past us at like 100 miles an hour on a shoulder that's not big enough for us.
That's right.
That's another time when Goolsby was freaking out. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember.
go.
I love touring with him, man. I miss that guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
good times. Yeah, I should have had you on a Friday, Blackout Friday.
well, this is my like Friday. My days off are like Tuesday and Wednesday. So
Yeah. So, how's your life under quarantine? Is what? What's your day? Do you just go to work, you come back, and that's it? Are you
Pretty
learning
much,
new
yeah.
things to do? Are you fucking?
honestly, just kind of like when we got to Boston, things were a little hairy because I didn't know if I'd get back and get if when quarantine happened, I didn't know what was going to happen with my job. Certainly didn't know if my wife was going to have to worry about getting her job cut because of budget cuts.
Right.
Because the first thing they always fucking cut is the arts programs and in schools and stuff like that. And she's a music teacher, so
She should
we
teach
didn't
you
know.
something.
Yeah, she tried, and there was she tried to teach me to read music, and we got into an argument over what a dotted eighth note is, and
Really?
I can't comprehend it. I couldn't do it.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for this.
It was hysterical. It was great. But yeah, we once things kind of settled, and okay, my job is secure, her job is secure. Let's get a cooler apartment. Like let's focus on us for a while because I said to you before, this is the fourth place we've lived in the last year.
That's insane.
In a year, moved 4 times, different place: New Jersey, California, new Boston spot, this Boston spot.
That's crazy, man. Because one of the things I hate most in this world is fucking moving.
Yeah.
So to do it 4 times in
sucks.
1 year.
And not only to move it like twice, 2 of those moves were cross country. So like we settled in, and once we got this place that we're in right now, we absolutely love it. And it's just kind of like let's kind of like take care of ourselves. Let's take care of ourselves and our lives together.
Right.
And it's been honestly, it's been awesome. Like, we just started. We're one of those assholes that decided to use quarantine to get in shape instead of like those unbearable assholes you see online. Like I'm working out today. It's like that was us. But we got really into fitness and working out and taking care of ourselves, and not only physically but mentally and in our relationship and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's just been, hey, go to work, hang out together, do fun things. We don't go out. We don't like. We're still not like down to go to like restaurants and stuff like that. Even though they are opening up and stuff like that, we order out and we bring it back here. But
Do you
after
try to walk past Fenway Park when the games are happening? Do you like?
No, I work around the corner from it.
Right.
I work around the corner from it, and I've been through there a couple of times, and that's my only regret right now is that I can't go to games at Fenway Park because in lieu of children, we're probably going to get.
Is there any part of that stadium that's like open where you could see through and see the game on the
Kinda, not really, but there is a place in Fenway Park called the Bleacher Bar. It's a bar that is in center field, and if anybody watches a Red Sox game or sees a picture of Fenway Park, you look at center field, there's this grate in the center field wall. And you might wonder, what the fuck is that? That's the Bleacher Bar. And what it is it's a bar that you can enter in from the outside of the stadium on Lansdowne Street, walk down into the bar without a ticket, and literally look inside. That grate is a window where you can literally look inside and watch the games.
Wow.
From that bar. Now, the seats in front of it have to be they switch them out every like 15 minutes so people don't hog it.
Yeah,
but you can literally walk into that bar, get a drink, and watch the game through the grate for free.
Wow.
So haven't done that just because, like, we're
right.
We're extraordinarily cautious, so we're not gonna fuck around with that. But
yeah, you haven't been there long enough to enjoy that kind of thing yet.
Right.
Yeah.
But hopefully one day, like I was about to say, in lieu of children, we're gonna get like Red Sox season tickets.
Right.
So that'll happen one day.
I have not watched baseball yet. I just fell out of love with baseball. I don't give a fuck about it. Have you been watching the games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost, not only the Red Sox games, but whatever other game I can get my
friend Richard
eyes on.
Just told me the Blue Jays are smoking the Red Sox right now.
Oh yeah, we suck. The Red Sox are like the worst rotation in baseball. The pretty much our starting pitcher every day I see on my phone. It's like today's starting pitcher is TBD. He's been making a lot of starts for us. Yeah. Oh, dude, our fucking Chris Sale, our ace, Tommy John surgery done for the year. Our guy who won 20 games last year, Eduardo Rodriguez, got COVID, and as a result of getting COVID, his heart enlarged. So he's done for the year. Who knows if he'll ever be back? They think he will, but so he's out.
Right.
So
he's out till there's a cure.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we suck, but it just makes winning all the better.
I wonder how much of that's gone on throughout the league. Like, elbow's been a little sore last couple years. I got to get surgery this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what the whole deal has been with all the players. In almost any sport can opt out.
Yeah.
I hate to say this. Sorry, Mets fans. I love you. We have a common love of chanting Yankees suck together, and I feel for you. But Marcus Stroman, pitcher for the Mets, they got him last year at a trade from the Blue Jays. Great pitcher. The dude played enough games this year, or was on the roster enough days this year to get his service time,
right?
For this to count as a full year, and then he opts out.
That's a great move.
It's one of the most Mets things that can happen.
It's also a great move for the players to do it like with a fucking a nagging injury that you've had, for a while, because then you don't have to opt out. You're just like, I got to get surgery to repair this.
Yeah.
And that counts against your contract, and you don't have to opt out.
Yeah.
It's a smart move for
sure.
everyone.
Yeah, big time. So that guy gets to become a free agent next year.
Yeah. So the Red Sox suck.
Oh, they're terrible.
Damn. And the Mets are sucking too.
Mets are not doing well. No, and in a year where the NL East is wide open, they're kind of just shitting the brick.
That's the Mets for you.
Yeah,
that's the Mets I've always loved.
Yeah. I remember last year there was a Mets Red Sox game at Fenway Park last year, and the fans collectively, like the 7-Line Army, that whole Mets fan group that they invaded Fenway Park. Yeah. So there's this big blue swatch of them in the stands. They and the rest of the Red Sox fans collectively started a Yankees sucks chant at Fenway Park. It was beautiful. Awesome.
That's beautiful. Have you been following hockey at all or no?
Yeah, I got back into it pretty much the minute the Rangers were eliminated, which sucked for me. But
dude, it was like hockey's back and they're eliminated,
and then they're done. Yeah. But you know what, man? I swear to God, like I've been a proponent of the rebuild for the Rangers.
Yeah. It couldn't be going better. It's going
because
perfect.
You remember what was the Rangers' strategy from 1995 pretty much through 2009? It was, let's sign all these old motherfuckers, these former stars, and see if they'll do anything. I mean, Chris Drury, Scott Gomez, Theo Fleury, Eric Lindros, Wayne Gretzky. Love you, Wayne, but he was
the only one who was where the fuck was Yager.
Yeah, Yager. He actually did something, but great. All the Rangers, all they did was spend money on over the hill greats, and it was like, it didn't do anything. It didn't get us anywhere. And then the only time we actually saw success started with Henrik Lundqvist coming up, and then
Callahan,
all those guys.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're gonna stop doing this. Let's pay way too much money to over the hill guys, and let's embrace a rebuild, and let's embrace bringing these guys up. And we have John Davison now, like heading the charge, and I'll put my faith in that guy.
I fucking love JD.
For
I
everything.
was so happy he left Columbus.
Yeah, and the fact that like I will take the Rangers getting eliminated. Like I'm actually happy that the Rangers got eliminated in 3 games
And we
because
got the first pick
like,
overall.
and we got the first pick because who would have cared if the Rangers got eliminated in like the second round or the first round of the actual playoffs, and then we get like the 4th pick or whatever. Like we got the number 1 overall pick. It hasn't happened since '65.
A lot of people are calling shenanigans. A lot of people calling shenanigans on the first pick. Yeah.
That's what I gotta say about that. Get fucked.
That's because God forbid a New York team ever picks first. It's like it never happens. And like the 1 year does. It's same thing happened to the Knicks. They got Patrick Ewing that year.
Yeah.
They never get the first pick, and the 1 year they do get the first. No, they cheated.
I get why everybody hates the Yankees because I'm one of them. But like they, because they've won so much. But what if any other New York teams besides like the Giants, who've gotten a couple, done? And then the Knicks haven't won since when? 70 something. The Rangers haven't won since '94. We're almost halfway. I remember being a Ranger fan. I was 7 years old when they won in '94, and like everybody's talking about 54 years. We're halfway to 54 years again.
Oh,
and it's
God,
like
that's horrifying.
Yeah. So like, why the hate for the Rangers or for the Knicks or whatever?
Right.
Like we've sucked for a long time.
Give the Knicks a break, dude. They need it.
I know. Oh God. Yeah. Well,
I don't
James
wish
Dolan needs to sell
I
all
don't
that
wish
shit.
death on a lot of people, but maybe James Dolan. Maybe. Whatever.
As long as he leaves John Davidson alone. That's all I have to say.
What's funny about the Knicks situation, everyone does blame him, but like the Rangers are a well-run organization.
Yeah.
And they do
Absolutely.
all the things that they want, that basketball fans want the Knicks to do. The Rangers do it. And they're owned by the same owner, so is it really ownership's fault? I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Maybe is he more interested in the Knicks than the Rangers?
I guess he's a little more tampering over there.
Maybe.
Poor Knicks. They'll never catch a break. I watch Stephen A. Smith a lot, and like every year there's just a meltdown of this is the worst day I've had in the history of being a Knicks fan. But every year is like
I'm very upset right now.
The new worst day. Poor guy.
Oh man.
Fucking so I guess we'll end it soon.
It's been fun.
Yes. Is there a storm?
I'm glad you're doing this.
Is there a storm coming to Texas? Our friend Gary, you know who Gary is. He says that there's a storm about to hit, so he's dipping out for the night. So I guess there's a storm.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, be safe down there. Yeah. Dude, they're about to get hit with like a Category 4, and there's another hurricane brewing up right behind it.
So you can tell that I have completely isolated myself from all the news, all social media, everything. I
Good for you.
Have dug my head into the ground to work on the things that I want to work on because things are so bad out there. But I didn't know there was a storm coming. I didn't know.
Well, good for you.
Safe out there, guys.
Yeah, man. Gary, take it easy down there. Look, when are we going to see anything coming from you, music-wise?
I'm working on it hard, man. I came up with a song, just music, and I let Joe hear it, and he came up with a melody. So it's not going to be a Darrow song or anything like that, but I probably will release a single. Could be me singing it, but at least he's helping me out with like melodies, lyrics, and shit like that. So
that's rad.
There's that coming out, and I think I'll just release songs whenever they're ready to be released. I'm not gonna do an album. I'll just fucking do internet releases and singles and shit like that, and just do like DistroKid type of thing and release songs.
You ever thought about like writing stuff for other people?
I've been asked, and I'll be working on it.
Cool.
Yeah, people have asked me to write solos for some songs, so I've been doing that. And I'll be involved in like other fun projects where we do covers and shit like that. So yeah, if you want to do something too, where we'll do like a collective of people. If you want to if you have a place to track drums where you can track drums, and if you want to be like, we'll send you a song or something.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll find somebody. I know a couple people up here, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
Is there a situation for you up there where you can play? Like,
I was starting to get into that until everything shut down.
Right.
But honestly, aside from like working with the guys in stations, stuff like that, and they're all like pretty much in New York and New Jersey, so I talk to them, and and stuff like that. But honestly, like, I
practice at
haven't
work?
really.
Fucking
No, honestly, like, I took this time. Honestly, I took the quarantine time and the time off of work.
lay off of that, huh?
Just lay off, work on, myself, work on, my home life and everything like that, and just kind of be happy. For a long time, not to get deep,
Yeah.
but like, for a long time, it was always about, for me, it was about like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And like, okay, we're only living in this little shitty apartment in Hollywood because, it's a means to an end. So then we'll get to this next place. And when I can make more money and stuff like that and get more successful, I can get, a nicer place, and then we'll be happy and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. Or then we'll do some cool things. But now that everything has forcibly been shut down, it's been cool to actually kind of chill with all that and be like, and learn to be like kind of happy at home and happy, like, and not worry about like all that shit. Like, honestly, it's just been working on, like I said before, working on myself physically and emotionally and mentally and all that stuff. And it's been great. Like, it's been really, really kind of nice to kind of put the brakes onto things and, not touch the drumsticks for a while. Cause me, I used to carry the drumsticks in my pocket everywhere, in the restaurants and everywhere I went and stuff like that.
That's right.
And
you have them in your back pocket. Any moment that like your hands could be free to, you weren't holding a menu. All right, well, I'll pick up my drumsticks and just like.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I did that for so long and always in 24/7 to kind of back off of it.
I'm shocked you haven't really. There had not been a set of drumsticks this whole video.
They're in the closet, man. They're in the closet. I put them away for a little bit, and it's been nice, honestly. As much as I miss playing and miss touring and miss doing all that stuff, like, you take a minute to kind of figure out what's really important, what you really want, and what really makes you happy and stuff, and derive happiness from other things, So it's been nice to kind of just pump the brakes a little bit and just relax.
Good for you.
Enjoy other things in life.
Good for you. I can't enjoy anything else in life. I just got to keep playing.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. I don't know. I've been relearning how to play the piano, which has been fun, and it's been. I don't know. I don't want to say easy. It hasn't been easy, but it's been easier than I thought it would be. There's a lot of cool videos on YouTube, and that program Synthesia, where it's kind of tab for piano. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just watch people play and watch where their fingers are, and I'll just turn around. And I'll remember. I'm like, that's right. This is how we fucking play piano, and I've been able to pick it up like that, man. So
that's great.
Been working on that a lot. Like I said, recording has always been like big interest for me, and I've really updated my home studio, so things are sounding pretty fucking good here.
Right on.
Yeah.
And that's good. Like, when people have taken this time, I can appreciate the people that have taken this time where everything is slowed down, especially people in our world.
Someone wants to guitar battle me. Someone named Lee Maxwell wants to guitar battle me. I don't know how we would battle.
I don't think you want that.
I don't know how we would battle on guitar, though. Like, there was those shows with like Marty Friedman and Paul Gilbert where they would go back and forth playing cover songs. But like, that's not really like a battle. Like, there's no winner. You just both play cool riffs,
Yeah. You just go really quick.
It's just be a whole lot of whittling. We would have Lee. We would have no viewers of people who aren't guitar players. Is the problem with that? You know what I mean? Like, or maybe I don't know. Maybe people are interested in that. We'll hook it up, Lee. Hit me up privately, and we'll do something.
Maybe that becomes a segment on this show, the show, or whatever.
Like the guitar battle.
This week's guitar battle, yeah.
You know what's funny is learning all to do this stuff and been working on branding. Oh, by the way, branding. I'm gonna have a merch stuff coming for this soon too. Fucking the Talkin Brash logo. I got merch lined up. People are helping me with different designs and stuff like that. So it's been fun helping. Like, it's been fun growing the channel and shit like that, and learning like OBS and like broadcasting and stuff. Like, those are things I never thought I would need to do or have to do. But it's been cool learning how to do it.
It's I'm watching people like yourself taking this time to learn new things or like work on stuff. Like, that's good. Whether it's getting in shape or whether it's learning to play the piano or new skills and stuff like that in a time where we're You got nothing else going on. It's better than just sitting on the couch, and
Definitely.
doing nothing. Yo, you got to get like whiskey stones or something.
I do.
Talkin Brash whiskey stones or
I
something.
do. Oh, you know what? I'll look into it. I don't know if they do it.
Or especially made like limited edition Maker's Mark bottle.
I do know that the company that's helping me do like merch distribution, or I am gonna have a coffee mug.
Nice.
Talkin Brash coffee mug. That's coming. Yeah.
Put me down for one of those. I'm definitely into that.
I'm also those gator masks. They're the masks that like start at your neck and come up.
Yeah.
A lot of basketball players have been wearing them. That style of gator mask. They offer those gator masks. So what I'm going to do is have like the talking on the top lip, and then Brash is going to be like a smile. So
Nice.
It'll be Talkin Brash on the gator mask. So I'll have those available too.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm doing all stupid shit like that. Just to, I'm not looking to make a living off doing a podcast, but it's fun to help the channel grow and have fun with everyone who's ever supported and followed me. It's cool to do it.
Absolutely. I admire. How many people that sit around and go, man, I should do a podcast. And when you actually do a podcast, it's admirable.
You can't let because learning this shit is you can just get negative right away. Like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing here. And
I'm like that.
It could just make you shut it down and not even try. But like when you get through that phase, it gets it could be fun.
Hell yeah.
Just like anything else, I guess. Learning it is the hardest part of it. Putting in the work is the hardest part.
Yeah.
This guy is saying he's the guitar player for Prison Bound. Cool, man. Hit me up privately on the Facebook email, because I see you're hitting me up on Facebook. So hit me up privately, and yeah, we'll see what we can do and try to make something fun, like a little fun segment. Look at that. We're building the show right now.
Hey, there you go. Why not?
Yeah. So, we'll end it here. If you want to do something, if you want to track on something, let me know.
I will, yeah, man.
Do a little thing. There's some side projects I'll let you know privately about what's going on and see if you want to do something like that.
Yeah,
guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you for joining me. It's been
thank you for having me.
Fun.
I'm honored.
All right.
I appreciate it.
And Sean, see you later, man. Lee, I'll talk to you later. Gary, Pat, be safe on the storm, and we will see you on the flip side. Peace out, guys.